Thank you. My name is Lars, and I'm from the company called Figo. We are based in Germany. Our claim is to liberate bank data. Spoiler alert, if you think now that's about PSD2 and access to A, exactly, that's what we do. We define ourselves as a banking service provider, and comparably to the payment service provider, we will enable the innovation as a PSP did for e-commerce. We'll do the same in the fintech space. Let's take a look back. We started in 2012, and in 2012, we actually had a very, very strong B2C focus. Our goal was to develop that one single app that everyone is going to use, connect his bank accounts, and we will disintermediate between banks and the customer. Now we are a B2B provider, and in 5 years, in 2017, 5 years later than 2012, we will be the first regulated banking service provider, and we will be part of the financial system. But what do we exactly do? What we do is we access financial sources. Financial sources can be bank accounts, credit cards, investment portfolios, literally anything where you as a customer can store your money. We access this data, such as transaction history, account balance, or even the name of the account owner, and provide it through our API to our customers. Right now we are live in Germany and Austria, but the goal is to expand to all over CEPA region. The use cases which are being developed on top of our platform are very, very different. Of course, there are banks who use us for account aggregation, so allow the user to connect third-party bank accounts into their own banking app. There are fintech startups who use us for scoring of their customers based on their transaction history, or even other fintech service providers who just verify the identity of the user to make sure it's actually the person who is signing up for my service. As we are operating in a freemium model, we have over 1,000 of developers who have access to our API and literally play around and develop new services. In the background, you can see lots of logos that are these companies who pay us for the service. They provide a commercial service based on our API. The biggest name is probably Deutsche Bank, who are just starting with us to use us for account aggregation. But there's probably also another logo on the right-hand side which looks familiar to you. It's FinReach, which was presented before. FinReach is using us for the account switching service, so they read out existing direct debits, standing orders, and all other recurring payments which are on the bank account, and this helps them to identify these recurring payments and put them into the new bank account. As I said in the beginning, PSD2 and access to A will change the whole fintech landscape. It will come in place in January 2018 and actually force banks to open up. We are already there. Our customers who are using us today already can already live PSD2. They don't have to wait until 2018 until it will be available to, or until it will be possible to connect to these financial sources. Of course, as an API provider, we are a tech startup, but we are much, much more than that. Our goal is not only to take over the whole tech part for our customers, but also as much as possible in the regulatory landscape. So whatever the requirements are with PSD2 and access to A, we want to implement a system where we can take over lots of things and make it still very easy to connect to financial sources. Of course, at the moment, we are focusing a lot of banks as the whole regulatory landscape is pushing banks to open up. With our huge developer network, more than 1,000 developers, banks can actually integrate our API for account aggregation, and on top of that, use this developer network to build their own services to offer them to the customer. So bank as a service is also possible through our API. And last but not least, a nice example of this whole developer network. We are the host of an event called Bankathon, a fintech hackathon. We just hosted it the third time in Hamburg, in our hometown. We had more than 80 participants in the event, more than 200 guests with 16 sponsors from all over the fintech landscape. And that's what we see as a banking service provider. We bring together the innovative side, the startups, the developers, and the traditional side, the banks with the customers, and bring them together and try to create the banking of tomorrow. So, thank you very much.